The sacred rights of mankind are not to be rummaged for among old parchments or musty records. They are written, as with a sunbeam, in the whole volume of human nature, by the hand of the divinity itself, and can never be erased. Power over a man's subsistence is power over his will. Men are rather reasoning than reasonable animals, for the most part governed by the impulse of passion. Men often oppose a thing merely because they have had no agency in planning it, or because it may have been planned by those whom they dislike. When the sword is once drawn, the passions of men observe no bounds of moderation. A promise must never be broken. I think the first duty of society is justice. A well-adjusted person is one who makes the same mistake twice without getting nervous. Learn to think continentally. Real firmness is good for anything. Strut is good for nothing. I never expect to see a perfect work from an imperfect man. There is a certain enthusiasm in liberty that makes human nature rise above itself in acts of bravery and heroism. It is the advertiser who provides the paper for the subscriber. Without strong advertising support, a newspaper publisher would earn less than the humblest mechanic. Nobody expects to trust his body over much after the age of 50. Those who stand for nothing fall for everything. Give all the power to the many, they will oppress the few. Give all the power to the few, they will oppress the many. A well-adjusted person is one who makes the same mistake twice without getting nervous. The art of reading is to skip judiciously. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If the sword of oppression be permitted to lop off one limb without opposition, reiterated strokes will soon dismember the whole body. Caution and investigation are a necessary armor against error and imposition. Experience is the oracle of truth, and where its responses are unequivocal, they ought to be conclusive and sacred. The love for our native land strengthens our individual and national character. No person that has enjoyed the sweets of liberty can be insensible of its infinite value, or can reflect on its reverse without horror and detestation. Nobody expects to trust his body over much after the age of 50. A fondness for power is implanted in most men, and it is natural to abuse it when acquired. That experience is the parent of wisdom is an adage the truth of which is recognized by the wisest as well as the simplest of mankind. Moments become memories, and people become lessons. Opinion, whether well or ill-founded, is the governing principle of human affairs. No character, however upright, is a match for constantly reiterated attacks, however false. Money is, with propriety, considered as the vital principle of the body politic, as that which sustains its life and motion, and enables it to perform its most essential functions. Men are rather reasoning than reasonable animals, for the most part governed by the impulse of passion. No man in his senses can hesitate in choosing to be free rather than a slave. Common interest may always be reckoned upon as the surest bond of sympathy. Self-preservation is the first principle of our nature. Men often oppose a thing merely because they have had no agency in planning it, or because it may have been planned by those whom they dislike. To be more safe, they at length become willing to run the risk of being less free. Let experience, the least fallible guide of human opinion, be appealed to for an answer to these inquiries. There is a contagion in example which few men have sufficient force of mind to resist. Take mankind as they are, and what are they governed by? Their passions. Happy will it be for ourselves, and most honorable for human nature, if we have wisdom and virtue enough to set so glorious an example to mankind. If the sword of oppression be permitted to lop off one limb without opposition, reiterated strokes will soon dismember the whole body. A nation which can prefer disgrace to danger is prepared for a master and deserves one. In all very numerous assemblies, passion never fails to wrest the scepter from reason. Opinion is the governing principle of human affairs. Men give me credit for genius. All the genius I have lies in this: when I have a subject in hand, I study it profoundly. Ambition without principle is a curse. The safety of the people shall be the supreme law. In the general course of human nature, men care most for what they have least. The love of fame, the ruling passion of the noblest minds. As to the general course of human nature, men are influenced by interest more than by principle. The want of power is no excuse for the want of energy. The sacred rights of mankind are written as with a sunbeam in the human heart.